Morning guys, hope you're all going well. Yeah, we've started the week again.
Myself,
Hey, hang on a minute, turn that off. Start the week again. Got a bit of hay here at home pressed up yesterday. Didn't obviously get any footage of that, but yeah, it was a bit of a muck around. I got up early, got up about 4:30, thinking it was pretty warm weekend. Got up early thinking that there wouldn't be a lot of dew, but there was actually quite a bit of dew. It was quite humid actually, and the morning was quite humid, so it took me most of the morning till lunchtime or a bit after to actually get it pressed up. So anyway, a bit of tool throwing and mucking around. So water's finished. They're actually talking a bit of rain the next 3 days, so 10 to 30 mil, sort of throw it out at a dartboard type scenario, and somewhere there in the middle. We've sort of just turned the water off for the time being, just to see what's going to happen. We're going to try and get a bit of stubble burnt this afternoon, perhaps, if the wind is settling down, and it's forecast to settle down a little bit more this arvo, which will be good. So I just want to get this 120 hectares, 300 acres burnt over on what we call the dairy block, that's irrigation, so we can get it sown to the grazing canal and get it going. And look, if it doesn't rain, we'll start and irrigate it. Just so we can pre-water it and get the canola in. What did we do this morning? We split up the single ewes and the dry ewes out at the back farm, that was a bit of a rock show actually. They didn't want to run, and the wind was blowing the wrong way, and there was a bit of shadow up the race. Sheep can be spooky bloody things when they want to be, so that probably took a little bit longer than what it needed to. And we've got them now split up into their groups for lambing. So I think there was about 630 singles. So what we've actually done is we've split them up into 200 to 10 head mobs, and then we've got them in their own 40 hectare paddocks. So and we'll lamb them down there now. So we've just found one of them. I think I have spoken about this, but one of the main management changes we've sort of implemented, and it was an easy one. Hasn't cost, it's cost a little bit because we've fenced paddocks and that sort of stuff to suit, but one of the main, and there's been a fair bit of research done on it by the mobs that we pay levies to, is smaller mob sizes and smaller paddocks for lambing. So we just used to lambing couple hundred acre paddock with 400 sheep and 400 ewes in the mob, and you'd just find that a ewe might have twins. Well, that's the other thing, scanning and splitting up twins and singles. But you'd find, a ewe might have twins, and she'd head off to get a drink. One lamb would get up and follow her, and the other lamb would still be asleep or something, or not follow, and then you lose that lamb. So, splitting mob sizes, paddock sizes has been sort of one of the, I reckon, big game changers in sheep management anyway, lambing time. So anyhow, enough rubbish. Just gonna fire this irrigator up again, although it is gonna rain. We've got a fair bit of water up our sleeve. The dam's full and the other channels are full, so that side it's rocking along pretty well. I'm actually going to move the twinning ewes down here shortly, just to get them onto a bit of green tucker. Then they're still in one mob, but I just want to get them down and get a bit of green feed into them. We've been punching a bit of grain and loosen hay into them, but they haven't got a bit deep where they are. So we'll probably put 60 mil on here, I think. Just walk the irrigator around and back again, and just to give it a good drink. There's a couple of rows there I missed with the baler that were a bit close to the irrigator. Anyway, we'll get this thing fired up, and we'll probably have to bang a bit of fuel in it too while we're going. Well, hasn't this afternoon turned into a royal shit show? What did we do? Got the pivot going, and shifted those ewes that have got twins on board onto the lucerne, and we did plan to burn a paddock this afternoon where we're going to sow some grazing canola. Got over there and look, the fire break wasn't all that brilliant. Yeah, I should have probably checked it myself, but didn't. And we've got a couple of areas where we're burning off that have got a lot of trees, so we were sort of pretty careful getting the fire break in, and I was sort of going to get a bit of footage once we got going, but it sort of all went to poo a bit, to be honest. So we've ended up, the guys hadn't raked around the bottoms of the trees. We'd put a fire break around, a disc to break around around the trees, but hadn't actually raked around it. And because there'd been no stock over there, quite a lot of dry grass and that sort of stuff under the trees as well. So again, the breaks weren't brilliant. So what's happened is, and look, not a lot of, pretty short stubble over there. Like we were mowing it off at the ground with the header and baling the straw, so the fire when it was burning wasn't actually burning that hot, but it has got in around some of the trees. Now it got into one that was half dead and actually rotten and hollow up the middle, and it's caught on fire. So we've actually had to cut the tree down to get it down on the ground, because it was a reasonably big tree, but it wasn't that far off our boundary, and if the wind got up, it could create havoc with blowing sparks and that. So we made the decision to cut it down, which I don't like doing, but it's just what we've had to do. So it's about 8:30 at night now. I'm gonna have a bit of dinner, and then I'll duck back over and just check. We had a few piles of sticks that we had pushed up and that have caught a lot as well. So yeah, Brendan came back and brought the Manitou over, and we sort of just pushed that up and cleaned up around all the trees. And so, out of the 120 hectares, I think we've got about 6 burnt. And we started at 4 o'clock and it's now 8:30. Less than ideal. Anyway, it is what it is. So I'm going to have some dinner and, yeah, duck back over and make sure it's all hunky-dory. Well, the day after yesterday, and we're still mucking around over here where we burned off last night. So I'll just give you a bit of a rundown on what the issue was. So we had put a brake around the bottom of the trees, and there's just too much straw and that sort of stuff. We used a speed tiller and it just hasn't probably dug in and stirred the ground up enough, and the fire's been able to get across that break, and it's burnt right to the base of the tree. So that's how we sort of lost that tree that was rotten. You can see even this one's got a bit of dead wood up the guts of it, and yeah, the fire loves that sort of stuff. So anyway, although the stubble's not real long here, like I said, this is where we baled the header tailings. So that stubble there's only as tall as my boot, maybe a bit more. Yeah, so just created a bit of a headache. So what I've done, and I think it's going to rain, just looking at the weather, there's a bit on the radar. So I've just gone and got the little heavy disc, and hopefully it'll chop the ground up a bit more and stir that straw up a bit more. So I'm just going to muck around here for an hour and run around and buzz around all the trees again, and where the break's the break around the outside of the paddock's pretty good, but yeah, the way it's going, we won't get any more burnt today anyway. Yeah, so anyway, just the joys of it, unfortunately. Yeah, the guys from Case been to come and fix we're having trouble with the air conditioner and that, and it actually turned out the air conditioning condensers up in here, and up on top of it there's a couple of electric fans. Well, turns out the fans were seized. Helpful, so that's why the air conditioner wasn't working. So anyway, the guys, Tony and Brendan, are over getting the fences up to split the lucerne pivot up for lambing for the twins. Yeah, but this is the other Said offset discs I've brought over, just a bit more aggressive and hopefully do the job. But yeah, anyway, we'll have a play around here for a bit and see how we go. Okie dokie, firebacks are done. We've actually had a bit of a sprinkle of rain. Not much bugger all. It wouldn't have been a mill yet, and the radar's not really showing a hell of a lot. So, but they were talking rain for the next few days. So anyway, we'll suck it and see. Yeah, just ducked into town to get a few bits and pieces. When we were saying that ryegrass and clover the other day, they've come across a hole in one of the secondary air seeder lines, so just been to town and got a roller hose. We'll get probably get the big tractor back on the air seeder tomorrow. We had to get a tyre replaced, so we'll get it back on, get it organised. It's still got the ryegrass seed and that in it, so we'll clean that out. And the grouper, I've got it, or the truck seed and super unit we use, the semi, got it organised. Just need to chuck a bit of silicone around the pipe between the two bins, but I'll show you that probably on the next one. The guys got the fences up and fixed where the pivot had walked over that fence that's splitting the lucerne in half now, if you've been watching on for a while. And then yeah, got the paddock split up into 4, so those ewes, I think there's about 105 or 10 in each mob, and I reckon we'll have lambs on the ground. Just looking at them, I reckon Tuesday, maybe end of the week, might even be sooner. Yeah, some that are very heavy, got quite a lot of milk on board. So yeah, which will be cool. It's always a good time of year and a bit of a cuteness overload. So anyway, that'll do for this one. Thanks for watching. Keep subscribing, and we'll see you next time. Ta-da.